Nvidia stock has been tumbling, but the only thing for investors to fear is a lack of fear. Almost $300 billion worth of Nvidia's market capitalization was vaporized in a single day earlier this week. It was a third sell-off in the US chipmaker's stock this year, and much like the previous two, it has almost nothing to do with Nvidia's actual performance. Instead, it's about market volatility, investors worrying about changeable US data, and while those things are going to continue to buffet Nvidia's stock, the biggest risk to its valuation could come later and could come from within. So Nvidia is one of the biggest beneficiaries of the race to build AI. Giant companies like Meta Platforms, which owns Facebook, and Alphabet parent Google, are investing tens of billions of dollars in data centers that use Nvidia's chips and systems. So those plans haven't changed. The big tech firms together are still planning to invest around $300 billion. And while that's still the case, Nvidia looks set to benefit. Now, there are some new threats that are coming onto the horizon. The US Department of Justice has accelerated a probe into whether Nvidia used special deals with some of its customers, encouraging them to use its own chips and not use those of rivals. But even if that comes to fruition, those kind of cases rarely result in fines that damage companies more than fleetingly. So a good example of this is Intel, which settled with US regulators over a similar issue around a decade ago. So if there's something that should worry investors, it's that Nvidia one day will become complacent, because that's exactly what happened to Intel. Intel was once the chip maker to beat. Its market cap in 2000 was closing in on $500 billion, but it lost its manufacturing edge to Taiwanese rivals and missed out on the shift to chips that power cell phones. In short, Intel thought that it could stick to what it knew and what it thought it was good at for too long, and that ultimately cost the company its lead. Now, that kind of risk is pretty hard to price in. There's no sign at the moment that Nvidia is going down the same path. Andy Grove, who once ran Intel, said just before the company's peak that only the paranoid survive. Now, Intel didn't take him at his word, but investors should be making sure that Nvidia boss Jensen Huang really does.